Hi, I'm Bart and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a half video on the GMC Safari. It's got an issue with the brakes, which turns out because it's got Hydroboost, it's the power steering pump that's gone. I thought that changing the power steering pump was going to be an easy little half an hour job, and it's not. Down there is my buddy Kevin, who, if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I run into him occasionally. Has popped round to give me a hand. There's his truck. You know that you move in the right circles. So the issue that we're having is that because this is a four-wheel drive GMC Safari, the power steering pump is trapped behind the differential, and you can't really, there isn't great access from the top. It's impeded a little bit by the fact that there's air conditioning here. There's a lot of stuff to get in the way. Now, initially my thought was to drop the diff so that we could get a little bit of room. I'll see if I can put a bit of video up that I took yesterday, which will show you just how cramped it is underneath there. Kev's come along, and I think that's what we're going to do, is drop the diff out of the way, which will give us a little bit more extra room. So thanks to Kev for coming over, and we'll set everything up and hopefully get this sorted.
Got the room we require now. I think at the moment our biggest issue is these pipes.
Can I just point out that you removed that diff in the time that it took me to look at it yesterday?
The secret is in being gentle and reassuring the truck. I think we've got the room now, and it's only the pipes.
Okay. The world's longest.
Ta-da!
What do you think? Because I thought it was borderline.
Definitely more than is desirable.
Yes.
But
it turns, but so does that one.
I mean, I can't spin it anywhere near fast enough to get it to pump, but there's enough fluid in there
that it would be
to
leaking.
tell us if it's going to bypass. It'll do it now, being so thin.
Yeah. What we're trying to do here, the second-hand steering pump that we've bought has come off a later van, which has got the mounting bolts on the back. We've took the blanks out of the old power steering pump, and we are swapping them onto this one because it's so tight. Even those bolts might impede us getting it in correctly, so we're just trying to swap them over.
Yeah, that was him.
Excellent. is the new one going in.
In, hopefully, in a moment or two. Ah,
Yeah, that went in.
I did say.
Yeah, just drop it in. That went in. That's
And
definitely
it's actually
in about the right place.
in a perfect spot for redoing the hoses.
Excellent. Little did we know as we were installing the new pulley onto the front of the pump, the world of hurt that we were about to get into.
Several days later.
We've got updates. While we were trying to refit the pulley onto the front of the newly installed power steering pump, the installation tool that pushes the pulley onto the pump wouldn't thread into the centre of the shaft where there's a threaded part in there. So we got the tap and die set out, and we ran a tap into the centre of it to clean the thread up, and the tap broke off in the middle of the pump. So that effectively shut us down for the day. We've now got to take out the pump again, which might not be a bad thing because it was a used pump and it might have had some wear in the shaft. So we've ordered a new one from Rock Auto. We couldn't go for the cheapest because of the Russian steel thing that's going on, so we've actually ended up with a brand new one. We've paid for expedited delivery, so it should be with us quite soon. Is this a blessing in disguise? We shall see, but I'll come back to you once we've got the part. Just trying to show you what we've done to enable us to get to the power steering pump itself, which is hidden up there. You can just about see it behind the steering bars. Because this is a 4x4, we've had to drop the front prop off and drop the front diff down. So there are two bolts, one on each side of the pumpkin itself, and it's a couple of bolts up into the subframe there. The diff has dropped down probably 4 inches, which has given us enough room to be able to access the pump and get it out from behind its bracket. The issue that we had was it wouldn't come out. It was loose, it was disconnected, but it wouldn't come out of its little area. So we could, by dropping the diff down, we were able to drop the pump down and out and in front of its bracket, and then lift it up in front of the radiator. That's how we did that. Now we're just going to wait for the part to arrive and we can start putting it all back together again. Right, welcome back. It's now a week later, a little bit earlier on this week. The FedEx man brought a nice delivery from Rock Auto. It's a brand new pump, which is something a little bit rare for me, but it is what it is. It's came in at about 120 quid delivered, and today Kev's back, so we're going to hopefully knock this one out the park and get it sorted. Here, you can't even see it, but there is Kev down there, and he is taking off the one with the broken bit of die that's in it. That means that we can't use it. So that's coming out. There is our nice new one, and it's actually come with a very simple little tool to push the pulley on, and also we've just noticed that the shaft is beveled, so that means that that pulley should push on there relatively easy. I don't want to tempt fate. Hilariously long dipstick again.
Yeah, it's a minimal bit of extra clearance.
Yeah, but it
But
really
it does
helps.
just make a vital bit of difference.
There we go.
And
That's that
here
one.
we are,
Out.
complete with broken thread tack.
Yeah. What a git. If you remember with the second hand one, Kevin expertly flung it in.
Oh yes,
I think he's going to try and do it a little bit more gently with a new pump.
Yes, it was wonderfully placed the first time.
There is just enough room to get this power steering pump in and out through the top.
And I did drop it around the fan, but I didn't.
So
Here we go, and that is now nesting
it's
on
in.
the track rods just below where it's got to go back into.
We found it was easier if we removed the pipe which connects here to the reservoir and pulled it down with the pump. So we're going to reinstall in the opposite way. We did that with the first one as well, and it does, because the pipe has kept its shape, it does snake its way in behind the air conditioning bracket quite well. So that's what we're doing again this time. So we've got the fill down to the pump itself reconnected, which is holding it in. We've got it bolted in, and Kev is now trying to attach the hydraulic lines, and he's having a little bit of a nightmare. So that was the little bolt that we used that came with the pump itself to push the pulley on, and that went phenomenally well. So I'll be keeping that in the kit, because that's better than the kit that I've got. And Kev is now just trying to get the belt routing of the serpentine belt back on, and other than the diff, which is still disconnected, that should, fingers crossed, be it. We need to fill and bleed the power steering system, but we're just struggling to get this this belt on right. We were, but I think Kev's just done it. It's definitely making blah, blah, blah noises. We are going to have all, apart from the steering box, a completely dry system, aren't we? So I don't know how much it's going to hold, but
I would leave it at that.
And start it up.
What I'll do is I'm going to jack the diff up and just put the pins through, but not tight. And then when you start, just gently
Move the steering.
do a little bit of soaring.
Yeah, okay. Right here. We're running and we're bleeding by turning the steering wheel slowly lock to lock, which is, I don't know whether you can hear, there's a bit of noise in the power steering pump while it just bleeds.
Could do with a little more fluid. It's right at the bottom of your finger.
We've topped it up again, and that's a lot quieter. And the big thing is, have we got a soft brake pedal that works?
There you go.
That appears to be working. We're running. We don't think we've got any leaks. It's ticking over nicely, as it always does.
Yeah.
We're just going to let it tick over for a bit and pump any bubbles out, and then we've just got to put the diff back on, and we'll be ready for a road test. So all back together on the front. I'd only taken the front off to explore going in through the front rather than dropping the diff, so there isn't any need to remove that for doing what we've done. Kev's just put the diff back on, so the front prop was already disconnected because it's got a loose UJ in it, so it makes a bit of a clanging noise every time I put it into gear. So I won't be putting that on until it's sorted, but that is pretty much us done. The power steering pump, which you still can hardly see down there, is changed. We've got a decent brake pedal, we think. We've filled up and bled the system. And that is that. So it just means a quick road test, make sure everything's all right.
And there we are. It's all back together and working. We've got perfect and quiet power steering. We haven't had quiet power steering in a while. And we've got a brake pedal that actually feels as if the booster's working, and it's not rock solid, which is the issue that we had. Huge thanks to Kevin for coming and giving me a hand with this one. Just made things so much easier, and it's always nice to work with your mate. I hope that's helped. If it has, consider giving me a like, maybe a subscribe for more random mechanic vids on old American cars, and also I do reports on local car shows with a focus on American stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.